So what I say is the second step, I repeat again, is the propagation step. So what will happen? In the first step, the bromide radical which was generated using an initiator, the initiator was benzoyl peroxide. So that initiator generated the bromide radical. It reacted with the neutral species, which is my alkene, to generate the radical of that alkene along with bromide being added. In the second step, it reacts with HBr to form the addition product, and the bromide radical is generated again. This will keep on adding. The bromide radical will keep on adding to the double bond until that entire addition reaction proceeds in a stepwise manner. So whenever the entire reaction is complete, I have to stop the reaction. Otherwise, the reaction is not going to stop. So the first step was initiation, generation of the bromide radical. The second step is the addition, which is the propagation step. It will only happen if I have generated this bromide radical in a correct way. So once that happens, the addition reaction will happen. The entire double bond would be converted. So you would find that this product, which is 1-bromopropane, would be created, would be generated, and the bromide radical would remain and will keep on. This will keep on adding, and the propagation will go on happening. But we have to end that reaction. So the third step of the free radical reaction is called as the termination reaction. The termination is normally carried out when you have two same radicals. So if I have two same radicals, what will happen? It is going to generate a neutral species and the reaction is going to stop. So this is called as the termination reaction. So what will the termination do? It will stop the free radicals, destroy. I'm using a negative word, but then that is the truth. So it will destroy all the free radicals, the paramagnetic, the unpaired species, to generate a neutral species. So it can couple two same radicals or two different radicals to generate, or will cause the generation of new species which are not paramagnetic in nature, which are not free radical in nature, so that the reaction gets stopped. There are chances that this may happen, but very rarely are the chances that two radicals, maybe same or different, combine to form neutral species. Otherwise, we have to add a terminator from outside. We cannot stop the reaction. We have to add, like I added the initiator, which was the benzoyl peroxide, to generate a free radical. In the third step, I have to add a terminator from outside so that I can stop the free radical reaction. So normally we add inhibitors. They are called as poisons. They're actually stopping the reaction. So the common inhibitors, you must know their names. I'm saying out their names: benzoquinone, phenol, amines, thiols, oxygen, nitric oxide. So they are inhibitors, they are poisons, catalytic poisons, which are actually stopping the free radical reaction so that the reaction can be quenched. So if I have a radical and I add oxygen to it, it will form this species. It is going to form this species, and the reaction is going to stop. So what is going to happen? The reaction is going to stop and the radical is going to be quenched. So the purpose is to end that radical, and you add from outside the inhibitors. I repeat the name of the inhibitors: benzoquinone, phenol, amine, thiol, nitric oxide, and oxygen. So it is actually, inhibitor is something which is actually stopping the free radical reaction from propagating actually. So what we studied till now is that every free radical reaction comprises of 3 steps: initiation, propagation, and termination. And we've studied all these 3 steps in detail. How is initiation carried out, propagation, and termination. So what are the general, now let us see what are the general characteristics of the free radical reactions. Let us see what are the general characteristics of the free radical reactions. And it is very important to actually compare it with normal reactions, which we have studied. Normally, they are reactions which are very similar, but most of the reactions occur in the liquid phase or in the vapor phase, not in the solid phase. The first step, or the first general characteristic of such reactions, are that they occur in the liquid or in the vapor phase. they are actually unaffected by the presence of any acid or a base or a change in the polarity of any solvent. So actually solvent is not playing a role. So actually they're not affected by any acid or a base or any change in the polarity of the solvent. And they are initiated. The third most important characteristic feature of such reactions is that they are initiated most of the times with the help of peroxides or by light. I've not introduced the term, but the second initiator that we use most commonly, and you've studied in your undergraduate, I think in your school classes as well, the reactions which are light driven. हम उसके ऊपर उस arrow के ऊपर लिखते थे H nu का मतलब क्या था? They are reactions which are actually driven by light. And what you studied, the first type of organic reactions were कौन से थे? Yes, जो कि light driven थे. Methane plus chlorine in the presence of light give me methyl chloride. This reaction does not stop. Then methyl chloride in the presence of another chlorine gives methylene chloride, then chloroform, and then finally carbon tetrachloride. So the reaction does not stop before all the 4 hydrogens are replaced with chlorine. So the most important step or the most important characteristic feature of the free radical reactions is that they are driven or they are actually initiated with the help of an initiator like a peroxide or in the presence of light So what is the take-home message? That free radical reactions have 3 steps: initiation, propagation, and termination. So let us see in the next step the types of the free radical reactions and to elaborate on the most important free radical reactions, which are the substitution reactions. I think I showed a substitution only, but no, the first step I showed was the addition reaction, but let us see the most important types of free radical reactions, which are the substitution reactions. So to begin with, what are substitution reactions? We all know when one group is replaced by the other. How are they free radical type? We'll be seeing it. How are they free radical and how the steps and the initiation, propagation, and termination happen in the substitution reaction? We'll be talking about that.